This is News Channel 5 this morning.
Good morning, everybody. We continue to follow the breaking news out of Dallas, Texas this morning. A live picture here for you where a third Ebola patient in the U.S. has now been confirmed. And we are looking at this live picture of the patient's home.
Officials in Texas just held a press conference. They said the patients lived alone, no pets, so crews have started that decontamination process. We're also told the worker was in isolation within 90 minutes of taking their temperature, so there's some good news there. We're told it is a healthcare worker who treated Thomas Duncan. Duncan, of course, was the first confirmed case of Ebola in the U.S. He died last week.
A nurse who treated Duncan and contracted the virus is now listed in good condition. So stay tuned to News Channel 5. And of course, if you tune over to CBS this morning, they'll have the very latest as well. All right, in other news, back here at home in the mid-state, a teen is behind bars facing some major charges after a joyride all over Nashville roads. Police say he broke into a tour bus lot in the Whites Creek area, stole a bus, and then drove around before police say they found him passed out drunk behind the wheel. Let's head out straight to News Channel 5's Jason Lamb. He's following this story. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Amy. This is the Anchor tour bus lot right here at 5th and Jackson near Germantown. Take a look at this fence that police say the teen drove through to get out of the lot. This is where it started, but police say it ended 4 miles from here. Police say 19-year-old Kendall Williams broke into the Anchor Tours lot here sometime yesterday and was able to steal a tour bus right out of here. Police say Williams tore through the fence and they found him 4 miles away at 18th Avenue South and Ashwood Avenue. They say he was passed out in the driver's seat of the bus. They smelled booze on his breath. He had bloodshot eyes, they said, and they found a 40-ounce beer by the floorboard. And get this, police say Williams told them he picked up several people and dropped them off at different locations. So needless to say, police arrested Williams. He's facing a slew of charges this morning, including vehicle theft, burglary, vandalism, and DUI. Police say Williams also didn't have a driver's license. As for why Williams says he did all this, he told police that he was just trying to keep warm and he didn't have anywhere else to go. Reporting live in Germantown this morning, Jason Lamb, News Channel 5 HD.
All right, Jason, thank you. Nashville's police chief says an incident right here in Nashville shows just how much needs to be done to change the culture inside the U.S. Secret Service. Listen to this. Chief Steve Anderson's comments were made at a recent letter to a congressional committee. The letter just obtained by News Channel 5 investigates. In the letter, Chief Anderson describes a January 2013 incident where Secret Service agents asked some of the Metro police officers for backup. Well, they were wanting to talk to a guy who had made threatening comments about the president on Facebook. According to the chief, the resident refused to come outside and shouted back, quote, "Show me your warrant." So, Chief Anderson says one of the agents then asked a Metro police sergeant to wave a piece of paper in an apparent effort to kind of dupe the resident into thinking they had indeed had a warrant.
So you can't steamroll a citizen of this country because we all have rights and we should know how to exercise those rights.
And that's a basic violation of constitutional rights.
Absolutely.
You can see Phil Williams' full investigation along with Chief Anderson's letter by going to newschannel5.com.
And today, the Metro schools have a better idea of how parents feel about plans to transform those chronically low-performing schools.
I'm here for the kids. The kids who are sitting there, they have hell at home, and then they go to a failing school. That's no choice.
At a standing room only school board meeting last night, Metro Schools Director Dr. Jesse Register recently unveiled a plan to create an open zone. That would mean families in the East Nashville area have a choice of all schools in their cluster, not just optional schools or the ones they're zoned for. But many parents disagree with the proposal. They say they want the district to focus on improving schools in East Nashville and make them worth choosing. Metro Schools has announced plans to form an advisory committee made up of teachers, parents, school leaders, and students to come up with a solution.
We told you about him yesterday that he was wanted. Well, he's been found. A college student that was wanted for several convenience store robberies has surrendered to police. There he is, Cameron Morton, a student at Tennessee State University. Police have been looking for him since they determined he was a prime suspect in 3 armed robberies in Nashville last week. He'd apparently gone home to Memphis before returning to Nashville to turn himself in. Investigators are still looking for a second person who served as a lookout during the robberies. If you have any information, contact Metro Police.
Happening today, DCS officials will meet with residents concerned about security at the Woodland Hills Development Center. Woodland Hills was the scene of 3 different breakouts last month. It's a facility that houses mostly troubled teens. It's one of their last stops before jail. Today, DCS Commissioner Jim Henry and Metro Police Chief Steve Anderson will talk with members of the Bordeaux Neighborhood Association. That meeting set at 5:30 at the Autumn Hills Assisted Living Center at 1010 Camilla Caldwell Lane. It's expected to last about 30 minutes.
The keyboardist for Jack White's band, Isaiah Owens, died unexpectedly while on tour in Mexico. 38-year-old Owens died yesterday morning. The cause of death not yet determined. White canceled the remaining dates for the tour in Mexico. Owens recently had moved to Nashville from Long Beach, California. The band released a statement saying, quote, "We will all miss you, Ike, and you were and are an incredible artist."
We're certainly a lot drier than we were yesterday, I guess, speaking, even though a lot of you seeing rain this morning. The wet weather caused some problems into the day yesterday. Check it out. Stones River Lane in Murfreesboro. A little farther south, you can see the high water from the middle fork of the Stones River. Closed part of Elam Road, by the way. Flood water made nearly a dozen roads in the Rutherford County area impassable for most of the day. So between yesterday's severe weather and that confirmed EF1 tornado that touched down in Clarksville, there was a lot of damage. That's why the Better Business Bureau is warning about scams that often follow nasty weather. The BBB says to be on the lookout for traveling repair crews offering emergency services. Remember to do your homework before letting any contractor help with cleanup. And you can do that by checking for accredited businesses on the BBB website. You can also request a quote. And remember, you can always call the Better Business Bureau if you need help on finding a service or reporting a scam.
All right, so you pick up all of those wet leaves and limbs and all of that. Once they dry out, maybe by the weekend, you're going to want to burn those things off perhaps. Well, be careful. Today marks the official start of wildfire season in Tennessee. It lasts until May 15th. If you're burning an area smaller than 8 by 8, you can log on to burnsafetn.org to get your permit. You need that. If it's larger than that, contact the Division of Forestry. You can find the numbers and more info at that same website at burnsafetn.org. So check that out.
You got it. Good job.
Something like that.
All right, 7:37 is our time. Here's Dave.